Welcome back to the Battery Podcast. I'm Aidan.
And I'm Casey.
And before we get into the lacrosse news from this past week, I think we just want to address the huge news that happened with the Red Sox just about 25, 30 minutes before we started recording this. Devers traded to the San Francisco Giants for Jordan Hicks. Can't remember the name of the other guy. Kyle Harrison and more. So it's still like a semi-official trade at the time that we're recording this. I'm sure more news will come out throughout the day on Monday. Um, yeah, I guess Casey, like we're not a baseball podcast. We're not going to talk about this for too long, but like really surprising to see one so far before the trade deadline, and two, a front office that's been like content with going 81 and 81 the last 5 years to make a huge move like this.
Yeah, I have questions that, unfortunately I just probably won't get answered because I can't ask anyone there. Um, I have been a Red Sox fan for a long time. I love the team. I'm loyal to the Red Sox, but I'm not completely surprised that we saw movement with Devers. Um, I don't know that I was expecting it to happen right now. I am very surprised by that. Um, we had a great weekend. We sweep the Yankees. Devers
Yeah.
got a really important home run today that helped us with that win. Um, so it's a little ironic that it happened right after that. But I do feel like the way that the beginning of the season played out, there's a lot of drama and emotion around Devers, and I feel like he might be happier.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I don't think that the Bregman signing this past spring needed to be the end of his time with the Red Sox, but it seemed like the way that the front office handled it and telling him to put his glove away and him kind of not wanting to back down. And then Casas getting hurt and be like, "Hey, can you play first instead?" And he's like, "What the hell? You guys told me to put my glove away." Like I don't think either party handled it well. I put more blame on the Red Sox front office because it's on them to because they know they're trying to trade for Bregman. It's or sign him. It's on them to kind of prep Devers for it and also just like gauge how well he's gonna handle that like a move. I mean, he knows he's made a lot of errors over the past few years. Like he's not been a good third baseman defensively. Obviously his prime contributions are with the bat. Um, yeah, I don't
And
know.
isn't that what he got signed for to begin with initially?
Absolutely. Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I think he was like no one comes up through like youth baseball playing primarily DH, of course, because there is no DH in youth baseball, but yeah, he's a guy who makes a living because he's a great hitter and you deal with him in the field, and the Red Sox didn't have to deal with him in the field because they signed a guy who's a good hitter and a great fielder. Certainly a much better fielder than Devers. Um yeah, so I mean it does. What does sting about this is that from that 2018 team with Andrew Benintendi, who, has not, his ceiling isn't as high as maybe people thought it was. Obviously, Mookie Betts, Xander Bogaerts, and now Rafi Devers. Like, they gave Devers this huge contract because he was the last one of those big guys left. They let the other guys walk. They didn't want to pay him. And now they paid Devers and he's gone too. So, wish him all the best. I will say my favorite part of this is my best friend is a Yankees fan and Giants fan because his dad lived out in San Francisco for a long time. So I'm really enjoying the mental gymnastics he's going to have to make himself to like and root for Rafael Devers after hating him for the last 8 years. So to that, chef's kiss. Uh, thank you, Craig Breslow, for that, if nothing else. Um,
yeah, I'm interested to see all the details unfold
yeah.
in the near future, just to read more about what's going to happen with that big contract that he signed and hear more about like the people that we're getting in exchange,
Yeah, I did check.
more pictures.
Yeah, Jordan Hicks is under contract through 2027, which is good. I mean, you wouldn't want to trade a piece like Devers, who I'm not sure when the last year his contract is, but it's not for a while.
Yeah.
Um, you wouldn't want to trade him for 10 years, but when did he sign it? I apologize for not. again, we normally do at least some bit of research, but we this just happened.
And we're not a
He's
Red
in his
Sox
second year. So
podcast.
yeah, yeah, we're also not a baseball podcast. So maybe we can wrap this up. I mean, I did look up Jordan Hicks is not having a great year statistically. He's a negative WAR
Mm,
player right now, but I yeah, hopefully that turns around. Um, and he doesn't. I mean, he wasn't the ace in San Francisco either because they have Logan Webb. But we'll see if I mean Bayo obviously pitched a gem today. Crochet has been as advertised, so we'll see. Hopefully, he's a great addition to that rotation because Tanner Houck certainly has not been the all-star form that he was last year. Um, all right, with that, let's pivot to the sport we're actually all here to talk about, lacrosse. So the Cannons' bid for an undefeated season is over. They lose 14 to 11 to the Philadelphia Waterdogs, and this was a tough one to watch.
hmm
Sowers did what he did last week, which was make everyone pay attention to him, and when someone slid, draw the ball, or like draw a slide, and that guy that was left open scored. I believe it was 2 goals, 5 assists for Sowers, which I'll say is at least 4 more points than I want him to have, but really 7 more than I want him to have. Um, McConvey 4 goals, McCardle 3 goals, Taylor 2 goals. They were both, I know the one was between the legs, and the other one was a more normal catch and finish on the Curry's quick stick. But it just like this is a game the Cannons defense is gonna I don't know if it's a throw out the film game or if it's
mm
we need to figure out what went wrong here because I think basically across the board, the defense did not do well, and in particular, it was it was Jack Healty getting beat on ball against Sowers, and like I honestly I don't know that you can slide quick enough off Jake Taylor or Thomas McConvey because they like we've seen they only need 6 inches of space, um, and the ball's in their stick. Like Jake Taylor's got to have like the most points per game with like the ball in his stick the least amount of actual time. Like I think he can touch the ball cumulatively for 15 seconds in a game and he'll still have a hat trick. Or on like honestly be even less. That 15 seconds just
hmm
because he's probably going to pass it around once or twice as they get into an offense. But um yeah, it was tough. And I think the biggest metric that I saw, Cannons had what 12 caused turnovers last week, only 4 this week, and no player had more than one. And that is
Yeah.
it's tough to win a game. And the dogs in comparison had 8. Kenny Brower led with 4. Um,
Yeah,
so
this did not go the way that I expected
no, like
at all.
like I'm not surprised because Sowers has been playing unbelievable, and we know the dogs are
hmm
good. They were the unluckiest team ever last year, and that wasn't going to happen 2 years in a row. But I mean, well, we did see, to spoil, I guess, the other game, they lost game 2, so the Outlaws get their first win of the year. I think fatigue was a factor in that. Uh,
hmm
but it shows they're not unbeatable, at least, right? So that's encouraging. They only put up 7 as well. Um, and Logan McNaney looked like he should have been starting the first 2 games for the Outlaws. Although I get not wanting him to start like less than a week after the national championship. Um, yeah, what were some of your other takeaways, whether positive or negative, from this game?
Um, Maxi got a hat trick.
Yes, so that's the bright spot for sure.
Knowlton got his first of the season,
Yep.
which was great. Um, Holman only had one,
Yeah.
and that I believe was in the first half.
Yeah, first quarter
Um,
was that like funny rebound, throws it over his shoulder blind type of play, which
yeah.
was very fun at the time. You gave the Cannons a 2-1 lead. Little did we know that was the high point.
Yeah. Um, I rewatched some of it earlier today. Um, and it just looked like the Water Dogs just kept their defense just did a really great job keeping us away from the goal.
Yeah.
Keeping like pushing us out. At one point, Asher had like 3 players on him and he just kept getting pushed back and back, more and more. And yeah, their defense just did their job.
Hmm.
Unfortunately for us.
Yeah, it was like to talk about Asher, he's been like 3 points this past game. I think he was two or three, or no, I think he was just one against the Archers, but he also had 3 assists in week one against the Atlas, which is not bad. Like I'll take 3 points a game. But he hasn't looked that dominant player that we've seen him be last year, and 2 years ago. Like he's had 40 plus points a couple times now. And it's like 20 goals, 20 assists, which is like really hard to do and really impressive. And again, not that like 7 points a game is unrealistic. Like Sowers, as we saw, is going to get slowed down eventually. Um, but he hasn't had that. And yes, like Cossack again, like on the Archers has always been good at neutralizing him. I think he's been probably the best matchup for Asher Nolting of anyone. Um, but we haven't seen him like get to his spot in the way that we've seen. Like he can't take anyone to the rack, or he hasn't so far this year. And I don't know if teams have kind of figured him out, if he's got like I don't know, like a lower body injury that he can't generate as much power as he's used to, or if
Mhm.
he's just looking to be a feeder more than a scorer now. But he's gotten himself into trouble. Like there's been a lot of double and triple teams that he's either still trying to fight through it, or he like it sneaks up on him and he can't get the shot or the pass off. But I guess that makes what is 7 points for him through 3 games, which is not awful, but I think we expect more from him.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, and certainly more than Holman was 1-1, 1 goal, 1 assist. Um, would again not that's not terrible. Like we don't need Holman to have 4, 5, 6 points a game
Right.
in. But I think that's a performance that he probably expects more out of himself.
Mhm.
He's also super, super close to 500. I believe he finished that two shy, and would have been cool for him to get there. Ideally in a winning effort. I suppose if he, assuming he does get there next weekend, will be almost certainly early in the game. So we can celebrate it. Like it would be cool if it was a game-winning goal that had happened against Philly, but oh well. Um, Another big positive too, Owen Grant looked
Mm.
like he had one of those four cause turnovers. He gets his first career 2 point goal. He also assists on McAsee's first goal.
Mhm.
Or no, his second. No, was it?
No, it was his
It
first.
was yeah. So that was awesome. That was great to see the new guys uh
Mhm.
contribute in that way.
Especially because it happened off Grant intercepting a pass that McCardle was throwing.
Yeah. So like some of Grant's like big statistical contributions came in that one play with the cost turnover and the assist.
Hmm.
And the 2 pointer happened. I didn't mark it in the app. Oh yeah, there it is, right before. So big second quarter for Owen there. And that was fantastic when that happened because it was 6-2 at that point. Grant's goal cuts it 6-4. Then his assist to Maxi makes it 6-5, which I believe was the score at halftime. Um, no, it was not. It was 7-8 at halftime. That's right. Um, Feeling encouraged based on that, but then yeah, just got away. I think Sowers did his thing. Um, Jake Taylor did his thing. Thomas McConvey did his thing, and the Cannons like they couldn't beat matchups consistently enough. Um, I do still think it was good to see very early in the game. Campbell took a 2 point shot,
Hmm.
missed the cage, but just good to see him pull up and take one. I do still think he's not totally healthy. Like I saw like an arm brace in addition to the elbow pad on
Hmm.
was his right arm. I don't know. Like he's a natural lefty. I don't know whatever the injury is, whether it would impede him more shooting lefty versus righty or if it's equal or whatever. Um, yeah, the Dogs just look like a better team.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did see both goalies were under 50% on the day. I think similar to last year against the Atlas. It wasn't Colin Kerr's fault necessarily. Like I'm sure he let in some goals that he wished he didn't or felt he should have gotten. But like you feed Jake Taylor on the crease, he's going to score. You feed Thomas McConney in the crease, he's going to score. You let Sowers, beat your guy and you're slow to slide, or you don't slide because you want to make him a passer. or you want to make him a scorer, like you leave him up on the crease, then yeah, he's going to score. So, uh, good to get back to the drawing board on that one. They play, I forget the exact date. I believe it's August 1st or 2nd in Salt Lake City. No, in Denver. Yeah. Friday, August 1st, in Denver. So, plenty of time to figure out what went wrong. And I'm sure these two teams are going to look at least a little bit different. Like the Cannons probably won't have the exact same lineup. You're hoping everyone's healthy, but maybe someone's hurt and someone else has to step up or something. Um, but enough time to kind of to figure things out in the film. And of course, there's a lot of games between now and then. Uh, but I do have enough confidence in this coaching staff that they're gonna figure out how to not leave a guy open on the crease when you slide to Sowers every time.
Yes. Yeah. I think, like you said, there's a good amount of time for us to, between now and then, to just figure it out. And uh yeah, I would always like to think that we'll win each game.
Yeah, absolutely.
Um,
Like it's not always a bit or like I feel like I have to pick the Cannons to win every zoo. Like
hmm
certainly if we were a Redwoods podcast last year, I would not have picked the Woods to win every game. Like the Outlaws podcast this year, I would not pick them to win every game. But the Cannons, like at their best, they've shown that they are capable. Like they beat the defending champs, they beat the leading scoring team from last year in the Atlas. Um, and I got enough trust that this game's going to go differently when they play again in August.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Any final thoughts before we talk about some of the other games?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I
Uh,
don't want to end on a negative note.
yeah. Oh, and Grant two-pointer. There we go. We ended on a positive
Yes.
note. I mean, I want to talk about the Cannons' next opponent next, even though it wasn't the next game played this weekend.
hmm
The Atlas, I'll say they fell apart more than the Whips won. Blow it against the Whips. Up 6-0. Up what, 12 to 8? 12 to I think they finished 12 to 5, something like that. And they wind up losing 15 to 12. Like not even like they
16
gave
to
up the
12 to
go-ahead
make it
goal.
worse.
Yeah, oh, 16. Yeah, the margin the Whips lost by the week before. They and the second 16 to 12 loss for the Atlas.
Hmm.
Yeah, like it wasn't even like they gave up the tying goal at like right at the end of the game and then lost in overtime. Like they gave up the game tying goal with like 7 minutes left. Uh just the way that they continue to underachieve feels both like a strong word and also I don't know, not strong enough. Like they
Right.
start the game on fire. Like they three of their first six goals are behind the backs, like each more disrespectful than the last. That trainer one from like it's like six,
hmm
7, 8 yards out, like on the run.
It was nice.
Yeah, that is, and it looked like he had a bunch of either college or high school buddies in the crowd, going absolutely nuts for him.
hmm
And I think there's no way. And they get their 12th goal, and then the Whips are like, I don't know what.
Yeah.
I mean, Colin Heacock clearly proved he should have been in the lineup the first 2 weeks. Um, Rambo out at attack, I think was the right move. Levi Anderson not in the lineup, which is kind of surprising to me, unless I guess someone had to come out for Heacock. I would have made it Rambo. Uh,
I think Rambo did get one assist in the
yes, he
game.
did get his first point of the year. It was one or two. Um, so that does make me a little bit more worried when the Cannons play them this coming week, and we'll have a bigger preview of the Snake Pit, I think, coming up
Mm,
as per usual on Thursday. Um, but I still think that's a case of an absolutely massive collapse from the Atlas, and not an indication that this Whips team is. But I don't know. They were bad for the first part of last year, and they rallied and made it all the way to the championship. So who knows?
mm.
Like again, I'm still going to be picking the Cannons because I think overall they're the better team. But yeah, that's one of those. I would have loved to. I wouldn't want to be in the room with Scott, but I would love to see his reaction when that was happening. That
Yeah. Oh.
Because when it's 12 to 8 and goes to 12 to 9, maybe you're okay. And then 12 to 10, and then it's 12 to 12. And I feel like once the Whips tied it, and especially once they took the lead, you're like, all right, well, it's over. Yeah.
I feel like I can just hear him going off a little bit in my head. I can just imagine
Yeah.
what it was like. I should have texted him, honestly,
Yeah.
when I saw the score.
Yeah. I mean, we still can.
Yeah.
Why don't you text him now? We'll see if we get a reply before we end the podcast. Um, okay.
Yeah, when I looked at my phone because I was at work, and unfortunately I was just busy the entire game, so I didn't get to check it. But when I saw the final score, I was like, I had to do a double take because I was like, am I reading this wrong? Did they get it wrong on the app? There's no way.
Yeah, those Maryland Whipsnakes.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was a weekend full of surprising results. Hate to say I was 0 for 4 in my PLO pick on this week, so my percentage took a big hit.
I You saw my team that I picked for fantasy.
Yeah,
You take a guess at how many points my fantasy team got me.
85.
No.
Less,
Yes. I
53.
am, nope,
43?
46.
Oof.
46. I don't care if it's fantasy or not. I am very competitive. So when I saw that, I was like, I kept refreshing the app thinking it was like miscalculating
Yeah,
some of the players' scores. No.
that's tough. Well, I did do decently well in fantasy. If only I had Schellenberger and Sowers. I mean, I'm never gonna pick a attackman of the team playing Boston because I don't want them to do that well. But yeah, Sowers had I think 75 and Schellenberger had 80. So if anyone had both of those guys in your lineup, congratulations. Um,
Yeah.
let's go I guess back to Friday night, the second game, Archers and Redwoods, which is a lot better game than people probably thought this
Oh
was
my,
at the start of the year. 12
that
11.
was an interesting game.
Yeah, that was one. It was a very back and forth. Like it was, I mean, it's what you want in a professional sports game, right? Where you're not sure what the result's going to be until the very end. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, Utah opens on a huge run, which is similar to what happened last week against California. They tie it up. They also Sam King in the lineup gets his fourth career 2-point goal, first with the Woods, obviously. So he's proven like he deserves to be there.
Hmm.
Where did that happen? Was that in the first? They used to label the 2-point goals. They're not anymore. Maybe they still do on the website. There we go. End of the second quarter. Oh yeah, right at the end of the second quarter. Um, so that made it. I believe it was tied at halftime. Um, yeah, 6-6 at halftime. So you're feeling these young Woods. Maybe they're going to pull it out. The Archers haven't looked that great. They've only scored 8 in their first two games. And then I don't know. I feel like that championship mentality came over. Also, who knew Sam King had 2-point range? That like they pick up a ball out of bounds with 4 seconds on the shot clock. Just Sam King steps into one. Doesn't like not even a bouncer. I think it was high to high. Um, he had no reason to do that at Harvard because one, there's no 2-point shot, and two, he was usually
Right.
playing at X. Um, but I mean, that's got to be a juice moment from them to
Yeah.
make it, yeah, 10 to 8. And then I think that defense just maybe won out over the Redwoods' inexperience relatively. Again, not that they're not all great players. Just it's
Hmm.
tough in that PLL. It's such a faster pace in the college game. Um, but I'm excited. I didn't look up when they're playing again, but I am very excited for that matchup. Hopefully it's one of their homecomings because I feel like it's not that one. It's not then. It's not then.
Just an
Oh
update.
yes, Salt Lake City.
I texted Scott, what, 2 minutes ago? I
Yeah.
think I've already gotten four messages from him. And I didn't even say anything bad. I wasn't like trying to, put salt on the wound or anything like that. But now here's number five. So it's safe to say he's not very happy
He's
right
got some
now.
feelings. Is he calling for
Yes.
Pressler's job?
I'm not gonna say what he said. But yeah,
Okay.
basically.
All
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Yeah, I know he was not a huge fan of him. And you got to feel like the culture in there is not great. This is not the first time that they've blown some games like this. And they didn't shoot themselves in the foot the same way they did in Champ Series. Just never hesitate to bring that up. Um, but yeah, they can't seem to get over the hump. And I mean, it's a regular season game. Like they still could go on and win the championship. But if they don't, particularly if they're not the one seed in the East or they don't make Champ Series this coming year, this is going to be one that comes back to haunt them.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. I mean, not that I want them to win, but hopefully they can um get some things figured out because it's just gonna make for that much better
Yeah.
lacrosse.
Listen, I'll root for
They've
them
got
over Maryland any day of the week until
always.
New York. If New York wins two championships in a row, then I'll go back and hate the Whipsnakes less. But we gotta dethrone the team in the East that's had the most success so
Hmm.
far. Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
The final game, which we already softly mentioned, the Dogs take their first loss. The Outlaws get their first win. So there's no undefeated and there's no winless teams in the PLL anymore after week three, which is pretty cool. That's definitely not true of like the NFL, for example. So props to the parity there. Um, yeah, it so McEnany gets his first start. Looks way better than McElroy. Bernhard gets his first career goal, which feels weird to say because he's I don't even know if he's technically eligible to be a rookie. I don't
He's
believe.
not
Yeah.
because
Um,
his I was reading about this because his rookie contract expired.
hmm,
And so when he came back, he's technically not considered a rookie, which I believe helped him out with when he was like trying to negotiate a contract and stuff
yeah.
too.
Yeah, he wasn't confined to the rookie deals. All right, so sorry
Right.
to anyone who bet Jared Bernhardt rookie of the year.
Oof.
Hopefully the sportsbooks had enough integrity for that, but I did also see
Hmm.
that you could bet Romar Dennis anytime 2 point goal scorer, and Romar Dennis was not in the lineup for the Woods this week. So
Mm.
I also remember seeing Lyle Thompson MVP odds in 2024
Hmm.
for PLL, not NLL.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, Woods and Outlaws. I don't know. Again, it felt like I really expected Philly to dominate this game just based on how kind of slow and old the Outlaws defenses looked and how their midfield just couldn't put stuff together. But I do think this was just a case of second night of the back-to-back. And
Hmm.
I mean, if I were making the PLL schedule, I would love to give the Cannons playing everyone on the second night of the back-to-back because that seems like a great recipe to win a game. And not taking anything away from the Outlaws, they obviously played hard, and this was for sure the chippiest game of the weekend. Like there was a big scrum in there towards the end of the
Really?
half. Oh, you didn't watch?
You think more than the Redwoods and the Archers?
Oh, yeah, that's true. There were some big ones in both of those. I don't
The
know. I think
drama that happened in that game.
yeah, yeah. I just because Pat Cav like threw a Like I think he threw an actual punch. I don't know how he didn't get ejected. Maybe it wasn't a
You're
full
right. I
on or
did
just
see a
he didn't
clip.
connect. Um, yeah, no, that was just a crazy sequence. I think maybe I don't know. There's a lot of lacrosse that goes on in this weekend. I couldn't.
Yeah.
Yeah. McAdory though against the did take that brutal hit from Piper Bond. Who Piper
Mm,
Bond is a sneaky like huge dude. Um, we saw like you think of the close defenders as maybe the biggest guys out there, but yeah, it was Piper Bond. Yeah, he's like I don't know, at least like 6'3" or 6'4" or something. Like definitely north of 200 pounds. Not a pleasant guy to have run into you. Um,
mm-mm.
all right, fate is conspiring us to not have us talk about the Woods and or not the Woods, the Outlaws and Water Dogs. Yeah, I don't know. It was cool to see the offense click a little bit more. I think Jared Bernhardt made the rust came off a little bit. Pat Cav with a first quarter hat trick, I think, or first half hat trick at the very least.
Hmm.
O'Neal was funnily enough the last guy to get on the scoreboard. I think he scored goal number 8 or 9. Um, yeah, it was competitive through the first half. Or I think the Dogs were even leading, and then it did just feel like they maybe ran out of gas. Like Sowers couldn't dodge as explosively. The defense was just a half step slower to slide.
Hmm.
Excuse me. Um, and also only one goal in the third quarter and only 2 goals in the fourth. So um, both teams kind of took a step back in that second half.
Hmm.
Um, but I think 2 of those goals were Outlaws goals, and only one of them was a Philly goal. Um, all right. I feel like that was a pretty good recap of the weekend. Maybe not in terms of overall narrative flow, but we hit everything we needed to hit. Um, sorry to Andrew McAdory. And yeah, I guess Casey, anything else to add? Yeah, not the best weekend for the Cannons overall, but definitely four entertaining games, and I would say definitely unexpected, given that I went 0-4 in the pick'em.
I'm pretty sure that I did too. The app isn't showing me like it's not showing me, but I'm pretty sure that I did too. Uh, here's to a new week.
Yep.
Right? Fresh fantasy lineup.
Yeah.
Um,
Just hit 50. That's the goal for this week.
oh, it hurts. I would say just one more thing. The Cannons play this Saturday at 7.
Hmm.
Be on the lookout for a watch party.
Yes. Yeah. We announced
Um,
that pretty late. But you should expect West End Johnnies.
yeah.
Unless it's like the 10:30 p.m. game, probably not. Uh, I'm
Sorry,
still
but
gonna
I'll
be
probably
watching
be
it.
in bed.
Yeah. I'll still be watching the game, but I think the Johnny's is kind of like a nightclub at that point, so wouldn't.
Yeah.
Um, yeah,
It's not really ideal for trying to watch a lacrosse
no,
game.
definitely not. Yeah, we'll get that confirmed on Instagram in the near future, and yeah, all right. Until Thursday when we preview the no longer winless Maryland Whipsnakes. Go Cannons!
Go Cannons.
Boom!
Boom.